So right before the new year. It was a tight one, 93-90. So if that's any indication, it could be a high-scoring and a tight, close affair throughout. But we'll see how it plays out. Again, when these two teams met earlier, it was closer than the records would seem to indicate. So let's take a look at the starters now for both teams. And we'll start with the hometown Griffins. Start in the backcourt with Vicky Toumaz, 5'6" senior guard out of North Wales, Pennsylvania. She is 14 points away from 1,000 for her career. And that is total. That's not just at Chestnut Hill. That includes her time at Shippensburg. She's spent her first 2 seasons there. Joining her in the backcourt, Mary Trossi, 5'2" junior guard out of Somerset, New Jersey. And I think we're going to do, okay, we're not doing the anthem yet. It's Play for K night. That's what the announcements are going on right now. So that's why, if you see all of the pink, that's what it's about. It's Play for K Day here at Sorgenti Arena. Just wanted to pause for a second to hear that announcement. And I'll do the introductions first, then we'll get to the anthem after that. So it's Trossi and Toumaz in the backcourt, joined by Kaylee Gibson, reinserted into the starting lineup after coming off of the bench the last game. 5'9" sophomore guard out of Marlton, New Jersey. In the front court, it's Shannon Glenn, 5'10" sophomore forward out of Philadelphia, averaging just over 12 points per game. And Jada Wildgoose in the middle, 5'9" junior center out of Somerset, New Jersey. Leads the team in rebounds and is 4th in the CACC at 8.7 per game. And for visiting Georgian Court, in the backcourt, it's Jalen Tweedy, 5'8" senior guard out of Richmond, Virginia, averaging just over 13 points per game to lead the team. She's joined by Jess Platcher, a sniper from deep, just under 40%, 5'5" senior out of Cape Coral, Florida. Sharna Prokic, 5'7" junior guard out of Subotica, Serbia. There's a couple of Serbs and players from Croatia on this team. I'll explain why in a second. She leads the team in assists at 4.2 per game. In the front court, it's Destiny Thompson, 5'11" junior forward out of Bridgeton, New Jersey. Leads the team in rebounds at just under 7 per game. And in the middle, it is Alba Herrero Gomez, the 6'1" junior forward out of Terrassa, Spain, making her 3rd start in a row. So we're about set for the national anthem, so we'll pause and ask you to stay with us through that. Just a couple moments away from the start of the opening quarter between Chestnut Hill and Georgian Court. I mentioned that there's quite a few internationals on Georgian Court's roster. Well, that's because they're led by Jasmina Perizic in her 4th season, and she is Yugoslavian, was a member of the national team for 12 years, played for the New York Liberty in 1997, and was an All-American at Maryland and the ACC tournament MVP in 1983, so it makes sense that she would have strong international ties. Chestnut Hill, of course, led by Mike West in his 3rd season after 4 years at Philly U under the great Tom Shirley. So Chestnut Hill in red unis today with white numbers, switching it up a little bit here. Pretty much all red, white stripes, 2 of them. Down the shorts, red trim on the white numbers, Chestnut Hill in white on the front breast. and numbers on the front and back. Georgian Court in navy blue with kind of tan or maybe a light goldish trim on the shorts. The letters and numbers in that same kind of tannish shade with white trim. Georgian Court with white trim on the front. Opening tip goes to Georgian Court as Destiny Thompson won it back. So first possession of the game, and here we go. Herrero Gomez holds, making her third start in a row. Prokic, screen up high, 12 to shoot. Entry pass to Thompson, left block, faces up on Wild Goose, muscles in, came up short, got her own miss. It's loose on the floor. Thompson has it. We'll call it kick ball, it looks like. And it will go to the Griffins. Thompson, nice job to keep that miss alive, but ultimately to not convert. And could not come away cleanly with the offensive board. Trossi in and out as she drove to the hoop. Rebound Georgian Court. Here's Prokic the other way. Platcher drives baseline. Mike West yelling shooter, and she is a good one, so that's something that the Griffins will have to watch. These two teams, both better offensively than defensively, both look to play a pretty high pace as Thompson misses again but gets her own miss, and it's a fresh 30 for Georgian Court. So that's why when they met earlier, it was a 93-90 track meet. Herrero Gomez turnaround jumper, and that's the first bucket of the game. Herrero Gomez at 6'1". She'll be the tallest player on the court every time she's on the court today. Wild Goose free throw line, jab step, drives left. Off to the left on the layup, long rebound. Thompson came away with it. Tweedy the other way, fires a deep two, got it. So 4 quick points for Georgian Court. They're on top early on in the opening quarter. It's Kaylee Gibson back in the starting lineup after coming off of the bench in the Griffins' last game, which was 8 days ago. So a long layoff for the Griffins as Tomas cans her first attempt of the game and gets the Griffins on the boards. Now, Chestnut Hill last played back actually in January. Last game was January 30th. So an 8-day layoff, which is uncommon. That was a win over Goldie Beacom, 75-64. So we'll see if the layoff affects them at all. Herrero Gomez spinning inside, got it to go. Soft touch by Herrero Gomez. And she has 2 quick buckets. 4-point game early on in the opening quarter. Griffins trail into the corner. Gibson up top, Glenn. 2 short from 3. Long rebound to Maz. Has it. Wraparound pass inside. Wild Goose lays it home. Right of the hoop. Nice look by Vicky Tomas. 6-4. Not quite 3 minutes into the opening quarter. Here's Prokic. Middle of the floor, and she'll get it across the timeline with time to spare. Tweedy holds left wing. Prokic down low, working on Trossi. Drives baseline, reverse layup. Came up short, tipped underneath, and Trossi comes away with the board. Mary Trossi the other way. CACC honorable mention back on February 5th, and Wild Goose fouled from behind. Shot wouldn't go. Fouls on Thompson. First foul of the game. That will send Trossi to the line. Georgian Court, 6th in points per game at 65.8, but they're very accurate from the field. 41.5% overall, 36.9 from deep. That's good for 3rd in both spots in the CACC. Their issue is they turn it over 20 times a game, so that's why they give up nearly 76 points per game. But offensively, they're pretty solid, except for the turnovers. Wild Goose is 2nd, too strong, so she splits that pair. And the Griffins, as we know, because of their fast pace, 2nd in the conference in points per game, but near the bottom in defense. Wild Goose tipped that one, and Gibson comes away with the steal. 3-on-2 for the Griffins. Gibson, coast to coast, hit the side of the rim, but Trossi comes away with the board. Shot clock will not reset. Glenn open up top. Off to the right on the rainbow 3. She's 0 for 2. Rebound Thompson and Georgian Court. Platcher holds with Trossi on her. Man-to-man set from the Griffins early on. Now it's Prokic in the corner. Hops right, cut off, and kicks back for Platcher. Platcher on the run, crosses over into the lane, leads for Thompson. off her hands, re-corrals, and kicks out for Tweedy. Platcher, a deep three, off left, tipped underneath, and it's an over-the-back foul on Herrero Gomez as she reached over Trossi, who's about a foot shorter than she is. 6-5 early on, Griffins trail. In the first matchup between these two teams, Georgian Court led by 14 in the second half at one point before the Griffins came back as Wild Goose misses from 16 in the wing. Up ahead, Platcher. Tamaz gets back defensively. Platcher drives baseline, cut off, and she traveled. Went up looking to fire a pass, but Tamaz stayed with her, and at that point it was an up and down. Gibson out. We'll see Cassie Siebold, the outstanding freshman, for the first time today. Wild Goose will sit as well, as Tamaya Graham is in the game. Tamaz walking it up court. About halfway through the opening quarter, 1-point game. Griffins trail. Tamaz, that pass tip stolen back for her. Herrero Gomez up ahead of the pack. Tamaz trailing, and she was fouled. They tried to free Tamaz up with a screen up high, and the pass back to her for Graham was sniffed out by Herrero Gomez. And now she's going to the line for two. Nice job by Tamaz to get back and prevent the easy two. So Alba Herrero Gomez already above her season average now. After that free throw, she now has 5. Scored in double figures once this year. That was back on November 21st, 10 points. Already has 6 as she hits that pair. So she's done most of the scoring in this game, 8-5. Griffins trail about midway through the opening quarter. Georgian Court showing a press, but the Griffins make it, or break it rather. Siebold, now Tamaz up high. Into the corner, Graham, skip past Glenn. Quick ball movement here from the Griffins. Glenn knifing inside. That layup partially blocked out of bounds, and it will stay with the Griffins as Herrero Gomez got a hand on it. 12 to shoot for Chestnut Hill. Siebold to inbound underneath. Graham rattles it home. Nice feed by Siebold as she saw Graham cutting to the hoop. 1-point game. As we close in on the midway point in the opening quarter, Griffins trail. Prokic calling out the play. Back to the bucket of Thompson, faces up left elbow, spins inside, rejected by Graham, but then she stumbled out of bounds. So it will stay with Georgian Court. Kaylee Gibson back in. Glenn will sit. Inbound thrown away, and that will be a backcourt violation, but Trossi races to it first. Trossi one-on-one and lays it home. Nice hustle by Trossi. Georgian Court, nobody really wanted to go after it, so Trossi sprinted after it, and she gives Chestnut Hill their first lead of the game and a timeout taken. It's 9-8. Griffins on top, 4:45 to go. In the opening quarter, Nerea Brozak in the game now as well, 5'8" freshman guard out of Cohoes, New York, averaging just over 6 points per game, 22 in blue. She checked in a moment ago. So your Georgian Court breaks the huddle with. In the early going, it's Alba Herrero Gomez with 6 points to lead all scorers for the Griffins. Wild Goose has 3. There's Prokic with Trossi on her hip. She breaks the timeline. Siebold tries to tie up. Prokic doubled in trouble and finds an outlet in Tweedy at midcourt. 18 to shoot for Georgian Court. Thompson, free throw line, faces up, drives left on Graham, partially blocked, thrown into the corner. Tweedy saves it. 9 to shoot. Prokic works right around the screen. Pick and pop. Herrero Gomez too short from the baseline, but Tweedy came in for the offensive board, and it's a fresh 30 for Georgian Court. Prokic up top. Trossi on her. Behind the back dribble. Lobs it down low, but it's stolen by Graham as she was looking for Herrero Gomez on the block. Trossi in a rush the other way and got it to go. in traffic. Trossi through the contact, and she's going to the line for one more. That's on Brzac. Platcher back in. As Prokic sits, Graham will sit as well for the Griffins. And Trossi converts the three-point play, 12-8. Griffins on top, 3:56 to go. And a whistle comes in here. Officials just sorting things out. Mary Trossi, now 24 of 27 from the free throw line. The last 5 games, counting this one. So she's been excellent of late. Platcher open, off to the left from 3, tipped underneath. Trossi corrals it underneath the hoop. That had been a point of emphasis for Mike West with Trossi. Seabold a 3, too short. Platcher comes away with the board for Georgian Court. Platcher looking to run. Seabold gets back and cuts her off on the wing. And Platcher will kick back out and reset. It's Tweedy right wing. Guerrero Gomez lobs it down low for Thompson. Trossi cuts her off, and Thompson couldn't hand the shot with the much smaller Trossi on her. Trossi the other way, crosses over in the lane, kicks for Tamaz, shot fake, leaves for Wild Goose. Into the corner, Gibson a 3, too short, might have been partially blocked by Guerrero Gomez as she closed out. Tweedy the other way, Thompson drives left of the lane, flips it up, no good on the underhand layup, kicked back out. And that was a foul on Thompson as she swatted Wild Goose from behind. That's the second on Thompson, who struggled so far and will have to sit. Prokic back in. Tamaz sits, now 12 away from 1,000 for her career. She has 2 so far. Under 3 to play in the opening quarter, 12-8. Griffins on top. Trossi, Seabold right wing, shot fake, drives inside, was hammered, and she's going to the line for 2. It's on Tweedy. That's her first. Seabold 79% from the line this year. Still averaging over 11 per game, but she's been in single digits her last 4. And that's after averaging nearly 20 points per game on her previous 5. So she had been red hot and has cooled off a bit. Second free throw good as well. 14-8. Griffins on top. They have the last 8 points in this game. Platcher doubled near side, looking for help, gets out of it with the pass to Tweedy. Tweedy has it back, fires away, too short from 3. Long rebound, corralled by Gibson. Seabold the other way, nearly stripped from behind. The ball caroms out of bounds, but it will stay with the Griffins. Here comes Rachel Milan for the first time today. Trossi will sit. Milan playing much more of late. She's played in the last 3. Playing 5 total games this year. Seabold nearly lost the inbound. Now Prokic does take it away. And Tweedy will run it up court. But a whistle behind the play. Shot clock never started. It's still at 30, so they'll need to take a couple seconds off of that and make Georgian Court re-inbound that ball. 28 on the shot clock. 2:18 on the game clock. Thompson back in. Guerrero Gomez sits. She has 6. Griffins will show a press. Prokic breaks it, middle of the court. Gibson trailing her, leaves it for Thompson, and she lays it home. Left of the hoop, nice play by Prokic, going coast to coast. And then handing it off for Thompson. Gibson a 3, left corner, too strong, long rebound. Gibson gets it back in the same corner. And it's a fresh 30 for the Griffins. Seabold, step back 3, got it. So Seabold has 5 quick points since coming off the bench. It's 17-10, under 2 to play. In the opening quarter, Griffins on top. Prokic, no look down low. Thompson nearly lost the handle and kicks back out. Prokic has it back between the circles. She'll set up the offense. Lobs it down low. Thompson, Tweedy, deep right wing. A cutting Thompson down low. Came up short on the layup. And here's Gibson the other way for the Griffins. Glenn, shot fake, blows by Platcher all the way to the hoop. Too strong on the layup. And a foul called. It's on Thompson. That's 3 on her. So Glenn to the line for 2. And Jasmina Perizic taking a chance, putting one of her better players out there with 2 fouls, and it looks like it will not pay off. But Thompson is staying in the game with 3 fouls, so I guess she'll let her play through it. One more to come for Glenn as Gibson and Wild Goose sit. Graham back in, as is Tamaz. Glenn hits the second, 8-point game, largest lead of the game for the Griffins. Prokic, backdoor pass. Too strong from Brajak, who's just checked back in, and a foul in the backcourt. Now they'll call jump ball instead, but possession arrow stays with the Griffins. 1:09 to go in the opening quarter, 8-point game. Now Thompson sits, and Gemma Moki, 6-foot freshman forward out of Frederick, Maryland, in the game. So Georgian Court going a little bit bigger here with a 6-footer in the game. Tamaz. Around a high screen, still with it over the right wing. Graham, down low, faces up, kicks back out. That pass tipped and stolen by Platcher. Far side, did she step out of bounds? Yes, she did. Platcher made a nice read, then was trying to tiptoe that sideline, but couldn't quite do it. And the Griffins will have 30 to shoot. 50 on the game clock, 8-point game in the opening quarter. Tamaz cutting down low, flips it up and in on the feed from Trossi. That's 4 for Tamaz, now 10 away from 1,000 for her career. Brajak, that pass sniffed out and stolen by Graham as she was looking on the side for Moki. There's Trossi the other way, about a 1.5 difference between shot and game clock. Glenn, handoff for Milan, around the screen, free throw pull-up, got it. Rachel Milan, her first bucket of the game. Shot clock now turned off. 15 on the game clock. Georgian Court can hold. They're down 12. A Platcher instead. That's rejected by Glenn. Tipped back out. 7 on the clock. Moki corrals. Tweedy has 5. Doesn't seem to know it. 2 to go. A runner in the lane. No good, too strong at the buzzer. And that'll do it for the opening quarter, with the Griffins on top. 22-10 at the end of 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the game, Chestnut Hill College invites you to the official restaurant of Griffin Nation. Just take a short trip down Germantown Pike for plenty of good food, drink, and fun at Brinningham's Pub in Lafayette Hill.
Back here inside Sorgenti Arena, 22-10 as we get set to start the second quarter. Griffins on top of the Georgian Court Lions by 12. Griffins 8 of 18 in the opening half, 1 of 6 from deep and 5 of 7 from the line. Georgian Court just 4 of 18. They haven't made a 3, and they've only taken 2 attempts at the line, though they have made both of them. Georgian Court has already turned it over 7 times, which is kind of par for the course with them. They average over 20 turnovers per game. Georgian Court ball. To begin the second, Prokic around the screen in the corner, kicks back out, Platcher open. Got it on the line drive. Just Platcher. First three she's made in this game, just under 40% on the season, though she is 2 of 15 her last 3 games. Tamaz rattles that one home from straight on. It's a 3. Give Tamaz 7. Now 7 away from 1,000 for her career. Remember, that is combined Shippensburg and Chestnut Hill. 25-13, not quite a minute. Into the second quarter, Griffin's on top. Herrero Gomez, no good from 18 in the baseline. Tamaz comes away with the board after it was tipped. Gibson down low, Graham, and she lays it home. Quick ball movement there, assist to Gibson. And a secondary assist to Tamaz, though there was no such thing in basketball. She set it up initially. 14-point game, Griffin's on top. Prokic holds. Gibson on her. Now here's Tweedy, who's been quiet. Down low, Prokic, posting up Gibson. A lot of contact. Shot was off to the right and rebounded by Glenn. And the Griffins. Here's Trossi behind the back, middle of the court on Prokic. Gibson open into the corner. Tamaz, a 3. Too strong. Rattles out. Trossi kept it alive and corralled the board in the corner and then was fouled. Nice hustle by Mary Trossi. Get the Griffins an extra possession. 27-13, Griffins on top. 8:29 to go in the second quarter. Jada Wildgoose and Cassie Sebald back in. Graham and Trossi sit. Gibson inbound, post up Wildgoose. Spinning baseline, gets it to go off the window. Working on Herrero Gomez. 5 for Wildgoose now. Tamaz leads all scorers with 7. Platcher deep right wing. Tamaz on her. Tweedy around the screen. Frees up around the circles. 14 to shoot. It's Herrero Gomez. Drives right of the lane. Flips it up off the side of the backboard. Rebound for Glenn and the Griffins. Sebald, left wing. Handoff to Maz. 22 to shoot. Into the corner. It's Gibson. Into the lane. Pass tipped. Wildgoose saves it. Back out to Maz. Shot fake. Open Glenn. Fires away. Too short. Rims out. Rebound for Tweedy and Georgian Court. 29-13. Griffins on top. Not quite 3 minutes in the second quarter. Tweedy in the corner. They'll post up Herrero Gomez. Driving baseline. Reverse layup. No good. Too strong. With the right hand. Rebound Glenn and the Griffins. Here's Sebald with some space. Attacks. Too strong. Wildgoose the offensive board. Tamaz in the lane. Doesn't get the roll. Wildgoose kept it alive again, but Brzac comes away with it. Brzac 2-on-2. Leaves for Prokic, and she'll slow things down. Platcher deep 3. Too short. On the line drive. Claying front rim. Sebald 3-on-2. All the way. Got it to go. Fast pace to this game, at least on the Griffins side. Georgian Court trying to slow it down a little bit, but their attempts have been futile so far. 31-13. 6:40 to go in the second quarter. Underneath Prokic. Open Brzac. In front of the free throw line, but it was too short. Here's Gibson the other way. Sebald, left wing 3. Too strong. High rebound goes to Platcher. And Georgian Court, and a timeout taken here by Jasmina Perizic, and she does not like how this one is going. It's 31-13. Griffins on top. Their largest lead of the game now is 18 points. 6:22 to go in the second quarter.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember to visit the official restaurant of Griffin Nation. It's just a short trip down Germantown Pike to Birmingham's Pub in Lafayette Hill. Join us today after the game.
(31-13), 6:22 to go in the opening, or the second quarter, and the opening half. Griffins on top. Big already in a rematch between these two teams. Griffins won the first one, but only by 3, and trailed for much of that game, but off to a much better start here. Off the inbounds, where Jack had an easy look at the hoop, but she passed out of it for some reason. So Tweedy resets. Here's Bajak, pick and roll, and that one was tipped and stolen. Here's Milan the other way, 3 on 2. Graham to her right. Graham recovers and then is fouled. Lost the handle on the first attempt. Regathered the ball and then was fouled. She's going to the line for 2. Graham 83% from the line this year. Rims out the first attempt. Now we'll see Nigeria Addison for the first time today. 6-foot junior forward out of Burlington Township, New Jersey. Averaging just under 2 points per game this year. Second free throw is good from Graham, so she splits that pair. 17-point game, Griffins on top, under 6 to play in the second quarter. Here's Prokic, knifes into the lane and gets it to go with the right hand off glass. So Prokic has looked good in this game, hasn't scored much, but she's handled the ball well. The rest of the team, other than Herrero Gomez, not so much for Georgian Court, who were down big early on. 17-point game. Looks like Georgian Court going to a zone here. As Jasmina Perizic looking to switch things up. In the lane, Graham tied up, looking for help. What's the call? Say a 3-second violation, so 3 seconds camped out in the lane for Graham as she was tied up. Here's Prokic with Trossi on her hip. Prokic gets it across the timeline, 22 to shoot for the Lions. Addison up top. Faces up on Graham, looking for help. Works left, handoff Tweedy, who's been quiet in this game. Tweedy around the screen, trying to force her way in, threw it away. Trossi the other way. Trossi looking to push. Crosses over, nearly lost it. It goes out of bounds, and it is off of Trossi last. Trossi just couldn't get a clean handle on that as she tried to drive by Platcher. Essentially going 1-on-3 there was Trossi. Tweedy the other way, deep right wing, so she'll set up shot on Trossi. Up top for Jack. Into the corner, Prokic fires away, too strong from deep. Rebound Milan. And Chestnut Hill, Milan stripped from behind by Prokic, but Jack has a free one with Trossi trailing, and she lays it home. Milan didn't feel the pressure behind her and ended up coughing it up. 32-17, Tamaza 3. Too strong, air ball in fact, from the right corner. Griffins on top by 15. So we come up on 4 to play in the second quarter. Prokic, free up top, kicks back out Tweedy a 3. Hand in her face, too strong. Rebound Addison, and she'll drip her out. Fresh 30 for Georgian Court. Brzak, top of the key, posting up Addison. Forces it up, and she was fouled. Addison going to the line for 2. Only attempted 6 and made 2 this year from the line. 15-point game, 3:57 to go. In the second quarter, Griffins on top big. Too short on the first is Addison. The Griffins won their last 2. Last time we saw them at home, that was their last loss. Fell by 3 to Jefferson. It was 2 weeks ago at this point. And on the strength of those back-to-back wins, they've now received 1 vote in the latest D2 SID poll, or Basketball East Region poll, only for the East Region, but still that's an accomplishment. Tamaz lays that one home. Left of the hoop as the Griffins ran. Off of the make, 34-18. Griffins on top, under 4 to play in the second quarter. Tamaz now has 9, so she's 5 points away from 1,000. Brzak, that pass tipped. Tweedy saves it near corner. Tweedy into the lane, flips it up and gets it to go. Right of the lane and 12 feet away. Gibson right corner, works left. Glenn, now Tamaz, fires away, too strong. Good look though, tipped by a Wild Goose, but Prokic comes away with it and then threw it off of Tamaz. So it stays with Georgian Court. 14-point game. Griffins on top. 3:12 to go. In the second quarter. Here's Prokic running the point. Prokic 2 points. An assist and 2 boards in this game so far. Platcher into the lane, flips it up with the right, got it to go. Soft touch by Platcher. Her second bucket of the game, give her a 5. Tamaz up ahead. Addison in her face. Wild Goose calling for it down low. Addison tipped it back out to Maz, a 3. 2 short, long rebounds. Sails out of bounds near side. Tamaz had a good look off of kind of a broken play as the initial entry pass was tipped. Tamaz will sit, Seabold back in. Griffins will press. 12-point game, 34-22. Lead was as large as 19, so Georgian Court, a little bit of a run the last couple of minutes. Prokic, coast to coast, leads for Brzac, and she lays it home. That's what Prokic has done all game. She's very good with the ball in her hands. It's now a 10-point game inside Wild Goose. Travel. Couldn't handle the pass clean. She was surrounded by 3 Lions and ended up traveling. So now Georgian Court can cut it back to single digits with a bucket here. 2:15 to play in the second quarter. Platcher, long skip pass for Tweedy. It was a bad one too, but Tweedy saved it near side. Prokic holds at the logo. 16 to shoot. Gibson on her. They're looking for Platcher. Platcher well covered. Prokic inside. Brzac, no good on the easy layup. Tipped back out, and Glenn comes away with it. Trossi the other way. 1-on-2, and she'll slow it down. And threw that pass away. Right to Prokic. Up ahead, Brzac. And she'll lay it home on the free one as Glenn could not get back in time, and it's back to single digits, an 8-point game, as Georgian Court has fought their way back into this. 1:34 to play in the second quarter. Into the corner, Glenn. 18 to shoot. Gibson, now Trossi. Everything on the perimeter of this possession for the Griffins. Now Wild Goose inside, doesn't get the roll left of the hoop. Rebound tipped out, Seabold has it. Trossi reposts Wild Goose, forces it up, and she's going to the line for 2. First on Addison. Third on Georgian Court. 34-26. 1:11 to go. In the second quarter, Wild Goose to the line for 2. Gets the roll on the first. Jada now has 6. Trossi sits, as does Gibson. Tamaz and Seabold back in. Looks like some late substitutions being made here. Herrero Gomez back in as Brzac sits. Herrero Gomez, nice work to start this game. She had 6 quick points and still actually leads the team. Second good for Wild Goose as well, back to a 10-point game. Now she will sit, Graham back in. See if Georgian Court goes inside here. They have 2 6-footers in the game, and Addison and Herrero Gomez. Prokic still running the point as we come up on a minute to play in the second quarter. Platcher has 5 in this game. Pick and pop, Herrero Gomez. Prokic wide open. Off right, way off in fact. Rebound Glenn. Now under a minute to play. In the opening half, 10-point game. Griffins on top. Seabold trapped. Tamaz comes with the help. They'll post up Graham down low, and she lays it home. Nice feed by Tamaz to lead her right to the hoop. And it's back to a 12-point game. Griffins on top. 6.5-second difference between shot and game clock. Prokic with Seabold on her. Griffins in a man-to-man set. Herrero Gomez, top of the key. They'll post up Addison, left of the hoop. Fumbled it, got it back. No good on the banker. Loose in the lane. Addison keeps it alive. Prokic has it. And the shot clock is turned off. 16 left in the second quarter. 12-point game. Platcher. Georgian Court can hold for the final shot, and it looks like they finally realize that. So Tweedy will slow it down. 6 on the clock. She's got to get moving. Goes around a screen to her right, down the right of the lane. Flips it up. No good. Rims out. at the buzzer. And that's how the opening half will end. 38-26. Griffin's on top. They've led by as much as 19, but Georgian Court forced their way back into it with a run at the end of the second quarter. Got it to single digits momentarily, then the Griffins had the last 4 to close out the half. So we will take a break and be back with the start of the third quarter in just a couple minutes. And also during halftime, you'll have an academic presentation. Got the particulars of it here. Yeah, it's an academic recognition ceremony for all of the student athletes for Chestnut Hill that have achieved a grade point average of 3.2 or higher during the last several semesters. So make sure to keep your eyes on that. And actually, it's 3.5. Don't want to shortchange those guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to the video screens for a message from the K-Dow Cancer Fund.
K-Dow is a person that believed that anything is possible. Hope and inspiration, that was her vision. Each day that I wake up, unfortunately, I think about is how this day can serve other people. Please donate to the K-Dow Cancer Fund. You can do something to help find a cure.
Chestnut Hill College Assistant Director of Athletics for Academic Success and Community Engagement, Jessica Day, is pleased to announce the members of the Spring 2017 and Fall Chestnut Hill College Athletics Academic Honor Rolls. Joining Jessica Day is Director of Athletics and Recreation, Lynn Tubman, Dean of Undergraduate Studies, Sister Cecilia Kavanaugh, and Faculty Athletics Representative, Sister Jean Faustman. The students who are honoring tonight have achieved grade point average of 3.2 or higher during the indicated semesters. So we'll start with members of the baseball team. Men's basketball. Women's basketball. Women's bowling. Men's and women's cross country and track and field. Sprint football. Golf. Men's lacrosse. Women's lacrosse. Men's soccer. Women's soccer. Softball. Men's tennis. Women's tennis. And women's volleyball. Ladies and gentlemen, please offer one last round of applause for the members of the Spring 2017 and Fall 2017 Chestnut Hill College Athletics Academic Honor Rolls. And a note to the student athletes we're honoring here tonight, you can pick up certificates in the lobby outside of Georgian Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the statistics from the first half. The first game of today's doubleheader is Georgian Court University. For Georgian Court, their co-leading scorers with 6 points each are number 12, Oliver Gomez, and number 22, Maria Ryback. Number 1, Jalen Clooney has 4 points. Number 2, Jess Laker has 5. Number 10, Charlie Kokich has 2. Number 15, Destiny Thompson has 2. And number 25, Nigeria Addison has 1 point. In the half, Georgia Court shot 29.7% from the field. They were 1 of 8 from 3-point distance and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. For Chestnut Hill, leading all scorers with 9 points. Number 22, Vicky Tomas. Number 2, Mary Crosby has 5 points. Number 20, Kaylee Gibson did not score, but she has 5 rebounds. Number 32, Jacob August has 7 points. Number 42, Shannon Glenn has 1 point and 6 rebounds. Number 4, Nessa Seabold has 7 points. Number 24, Rachel Lamont has 2. And number 33, Tamaya Graham has 7 points. The Griffins shot 41.2% from the field. They were 2 of 13 from 3-point distance and 8 for 11 from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, don't miss this opportunity to support the Chestnut Hill College students on their service trip to Nairobi, Kenya. They'll be leaving May 20th and returning on June 8th, and you can support their efforts directly by purchasing 50/50 raffle tickets at the table just inside the entrance to Georgian Arena. We'll have drawing shortly, and we'll have another 50/50 raffle for the same purpose during the men's game tonight.
between Chestnut Hill and Georgian Court. It's 38-26. The Griffins on top of the Lions. So we're about a minute away from the start of the third. Griffins 14 of 34 in the opening half, led by as much as 19. Georgian Court 11 of 37 and just 1 of 8 from downtown. The Griffins have only made 2 threes, 2 of 13, but they are 8 of 11 from the line. So as is usual, the team that gets to and makes the most in the conference at the line, getting it done from the charity stripe, and that's been one of the major differences in the game. Neither team shooting what you would call a scorching percentage. Griffins ball to begin the third quarter. They're in the red, Georgian Court in the blue. Same 5 for both teams. It's Wild Goose down low. Open Glenn fires away. Too strong. She's been off so far from deep. Rebound to Georgian Court. It's Platcher. Thought about firing in transition, but they'll reset with Tweedy. Now Prokic down low. Thompson with those 3 fouls came up short right of the hoop as they posted her up. Trossi the other way. Trossi out there with Wild Goose, Gibson, Glenn, and Tamaz. Down low, Glenn flips it up. No good, but she's going to the line. 4-2. For Georgian Court, it's Prokic, Tweedy, Platcher, Thompson, who's again playing with 3 fouls and sat the entire second quarter. And then Herrero Gomez down low. Vicky Tamaz leads all scorers with 9, the leading scorer in the CACC at 17 per game. She's 5 away from 1,000 points for her career now. 1 more to come for Glenn. Herrero Gomez and Naria Brzak leading the way for Georgian Court, both with 6. Jalen Tweedy only has 4. She's their leading scorer, just over 13 per game. 13-point game. Tweedy cut off down low by Tross. He kicks back out for Thompson, looking for Platcher. She gives it to her between the circles. Prokic, deep left wing. Thompson, top of the key. 10 to shoot. It's Tweedy driving baseline. A lot of contact, and it's an offensive foul. She lowered the shoulder on Trossi, so it's going the other way. Second on Tweedy. Just over a minute into the third quarter. Both teams looking for their first bucket of the third. Wild Goose in the lane. Foul before the shot. And it's on Thompson. That's her 4th. Looks like she'll stay in, though. Trossi to inbound. Not a shooting foul. Wild Goose down low. Goes at Thompson. Knocked out of her hands. Who's it off of? It stays with the Griffins. So Thompson, that time, good job to get her hand in there without fouling. 1 more, and that would have been it. Trossi between the circles. Prokic on her. Tamaz around the screen. Air ball too short. Might have been partially blocked. Keeping it alive, though, is Gibson. Glenn a 3. Off left. Long rebound. Trossi. 2 offensive boards here for the Griffins. Wild Goose got it to go. Faked right, went left. And kissed it off the glass. Up ahead, Platcher all by herself, and she scoops it home. 13-point game. Quick answer from Georgian Court. Gibson diagonally in the lane. No good off glass. A little bit too strong. Rebound Platcher, and here she comes looking to run. Platcher with Gibson on her back. Diagonally across the lane. Forces it up. And the call will go against Glenn, sending Platcher to the line for 2. .13 game, 8:03 to go in the third quarter. Platcher gets the roll. She now has 6. You're seeing all of the pink in the gym, and all the Griffin coaches are wearing pink. Mike West with those great pink pants he breaks out once a year. That's because it's Play for K Day. The second free throw is no good. Glenn on the run down the lane. Flips it up and gets it to go with the left hand. Soft touch by Shannon Glenn. 14-point game. And play for K-Day is in honor. And just get the information right as that one rattles home from Platcher. That's a 3, make it an 11-point game. And that's for the K-Yow Cancer Fund. So if you want to donate, that's at kyow.com/donate. So take a look at that for sure as Glenn. It's whistled for a 3-second violation. 11-point game. Griffin's on top. Gibson will sit. Sebald back in. 7:23 to go in the third quarter. Griffin's on top by 11. They've led by as much as 19. That was in the second quarter when it looked like they would blow this one wide open. But it hasn't quite panned out that way. Georgian Court hanging around. Prokic, left wing, hops right, pick and roll with Herrero Gomez, but it was stolen by Sebald, and now Tomaz will bring it up court. Open Glenn, doesn't take the shot though, kicks back out to Maz. Trossi, short right corner, works left, kicks out Sebald on the run, in the lane, leaves for Trossi, shot fake, drives baseline, dribbles out the other side. Sebald up top, and a whistle on the floor. Looks like a foul away from the ball, and it is. It's on to Ray Brajak. Nice ball movement there by the Griffins. Graham back in. Wild Goose will sit. 43-32, Griffins on top, 6:47 to go. In the third quarter, it's Sebald, right wing, crosses over on Platcher. 25 to shoot. As Sebald resets, Glenn shot fake, drives inside, flips it up, and got it to go with the right hand. So back-to-back layups for Shannon Glenn with those underhand layups that she likes. Platcher shot fake, drives baseline, and a whistle. Timeout before the shot by Jasmina Perizic. It's a 45-32 game. Griffins on top, 6:25 to go in the third quarter.
Looking for some food and drink after tonight's game? Join us at Brittingham's Pub in Lafayette Hill, the official restaurant of Griffin Nation, where you can enjoy all your pub favorites with your choice of 50 seasonal and craft beers.
.625 to go in the third quarter, 45-32 game. Griffins on top of visiting Georgian Court. In the corner, Prokic open, too short on the line drive, gets her own miss, leads for Herrero Gomez, and she puts it home from 8 and the baseline. Prokic is not a shooter, but she knows how to move the ball. That time got her own miss, and then found Herrero Gomez, up and under move, no good by Graham at the other end. Rebound Brajak, up ahead Platcher, right back for Tweedy. Tweedy on the run, and a foul on the drive to the hoop. Officials discussing whether it's a shooting foul or not. Looks like it will be, as Tweedy is standing at the line. It's on Sebald. And Tweedy goes to the line for 2. She can get it back. 2 single digits if she hits both. Hits the first. Tweedy 78% from the line. Rachel Milan in for the first time in the third quarter as Shannon Glenn sits. One more to come for Tweedy. Hits that too. So back to a 9-point game. First time since about midway through the second quarter that Georgian Court has gotten it back to single digits. Griffins looking to answer, under 6 to play. In the third, Graham, left baseline, 18 feet away. Bolt pass in traffic behind Sebald, and it goes through her hands, and that pass appeared to be kicked, and it was. It will stay with the Lions. Not a bad play, though, because if it got through, it probably would have led to an easy 2 for Georgian Court as they were off and running. Inbounds, swatted out of bounds far side by Sebald, so Tweedy will do it again. This time about 5 feet further into the front court. 29 to shoot for Georgian Court Inbound to Herrero Gomez, who hands off for Jack. Platcher in the lane, leads for Herrero Gomez, and she lays it home. With nobody on her, Trossi flopped to the deck trying to draw a charge, but doesn't get that one. 7-point game, closest Georgian Court has been in quite some time. Graham in traffic, regathers, and was fouled. So Tamaya Graham back to the line. This was a 19-point game at one point in the second quarter. Georgian Court fought their way back into it, got it to 8. Then the Griffins answered with the final 4 of the opening half. And now it's back to 7, which is the closest it's been since the first quarter. Graham with 2 to come. No good on the first. But even though Georgian Court 4-17, they gave the Griffins a game when these two teams met a little over a month ago. Chestnut Hill won by just 3 in a game they trailed for much of on the road back on December 30th against this same team. 8-point game as Graham splits those free throws. Herrero Gomez, top of the key. Now Prokic in the corner, 18 to shoot. Brzac up top. Back for Prokic, drives left into the lane, leaves for Brzac, and she was fouled. Brzac to the line for 2. She has 6. Platcher now with 11. And Herrero Gomez with 10, which matches her season high. Tweedy, the leading scorer on this team, still with just 6, and Destiny Thompson, second leading scorer, has been on the bench with foul trouble, has 4 fouls in fact, so she'll probably sit until sometime in the fourth quarter. So right now, Georgian Court hanging in there with one of their big guns in foul trouble, and the other one having a quiet game in Tweedy. One more to come for Brzac. No good on the second, but Tweedy took the board away from Wild Goose. Here's Tweedy firing away. Got it. So Jalen Tweedy, just like that, makes her first 3 of the game, and it's a 4-point game suddenly. 4:45 to go in the third. Wild Goose spinning down low, forces it up, too strong, well defended by Herrero Gomez, and then Wild Goose picks up a foul on the rebound. That's a frustration foul, or at least it appeared to be, on Wild Goose, frustrated that she missed the shot. So Georgian Court can cut this to a 1-possession game with a bucket here. 4-point game, 4:34 to go in the third. Herrero Gomez calling for it down low, doesn't get it. Prokic left baseline. Brzac up top, Platcher. Shot fake, drives down the lane, a floater, offensive foul. It was Tomas stepping in front of Platcher. First on Platcher. Glenn in, Milan will sit. She was in for about 45 seconds there. 4-point game. Griffins with just 8 points so far in the third quarter. Glenn corrals that loose ball at the logo. Gibson working right around the screen. Picks up her dribble. 10 to shoot. Wild Goose down low. Right block. Goes with the left hand. Forces it up. Hit the side of the bucket. Prokic dribbled it off the leg of Siebold. And it will stay with Georgian Court. Crowd not happy about that, but it's pretty clearly off of Siebold's chin. Under 4 to play in the third. 4-point game. Griffins on top. They've led by as much as 19, but it's been Georgian Court's third quarter so far, as they've got it down to a 4-point game, closest it's been since the game's opening moments. Herrero Gomez, top of the key. They'll post up Brzac, but it's through her hands on the entry pass. So an unforced error there by Georgian Court. Let's see if the Griffins can take advantage. Vicky Tomas will sit, yet to score in the second half, and still 5 points away from 1,000 for her career. Siebold crossing over on the wing, flips it up, got it to go, and the foul. So Cassie Siebold making a play there when the Griffins needed it. And she'll go to the line looking to convert the 3-point play. Siebold now with 9. with one more to come. 6-point game, 3:31 to go in the third quarter. And Seabold converts. Give her 10, first time she's been in double figures in 5 games. Addison back in. Platcher sits, so the Lions going big here with 2 6-footers, Addison and Herrero Gomez down low. Here's Tweedy. Herrero Gomez calling for it down low. She has it. Quick ball movement. Prokic a 3. In and out on the line. Drive. Wild Goose corrals the board underneath. Seabold got clotheslined right there. No call. Prokic 2-on-2, and she'll dribble back out. Tweedy fouled from behind on the 3, and she's going to the line. Mike West irate because Seabold got just hammered right there, and there was no call. Foul is on Gibson. 5th on the Griffins, so Georgian Court in the double bonus now. The rest of the third. 3 to come for Tweedy. Tweedy now has 10, so she had been quiet. Now she's pretty much right on pace for her season average, if not a little bit better. She's now the 3rd line in double figures, joining Platcher and Herrero Gomez. One more to come. Tweedy has hit the first 2. She can cut it to a 4-point game. And she does just that. 49-45. 3:05 to play. In the third quarter, Griffins on top. Seabold around a screen up high from Wild Goose. Hand off Gibson into the corner. Glenn. Wild Goose double down low. Seabold open. 2 short from 3. Rebound Tweedy. And she's looking to run 2-on-3. Leaves her Prokic to her left. Right back for Tweedy, and she lays it home. Prokic knows how to move the ball. That was a difficult pass underneath. And she has the assist on the bucket for Tweedy that gets it back to a 2-point game. Glenn fouled at the other end, and she's going back to the line. Fouls on Addison. 2 to come for Glenn. This game suddenly much tighter than it appeared it would be. This was a 19-point game at one point, with the Griffins with a big lead. Tamaz back in. Seabold sits. Prokic will get a well-earned rest. Platcher back in. Prokic has 6 assists. That's a game-high 6. Second good from Glenn as well. Back to a 4-point game. Griffins on top. 2:30 to go. In the third quarter, that pass kicked out of bounds, so it stays with the Griffins near side. Or rather, it stays with Georgian Court. Now Thompson will come in. Herrero Gomez will sit. Thompson, 4 fouls, so her first action since the opening moments of the third quarter. Right into Thompson. She drives baseline on Glenn. Kicks back out. Open Platcher. Doesn't get the roll on the line drive 3, but Thompson comes away with the offensive board. So Thompson with those 4 fouls. When the Griffins get the ball back, they'll likely go right at her offensively. And a travel on the perimeter on Addison. So the ball goes back to the Griffins. Thompson staying in, even though there was a whistle. See if the Griffins attack her, but she's on Glenn right now, not Wild Goose. Wild Goose driving at Addison, gets the roll left of the hoop. So Wild Goose is able to muscle that one home. 6-point game, under 2 to play in the third as the Griffins try to stretch this lead back out. Addison, handoff for Tweedy. Back for Brajak, around the screen, Platcher, 15 to shoot. She drives left, lost the ball, out of bounds. And it goes to the Griffins. Well defended by Mary Trossi. Georgian Court's offense seems to struggle every time Prokic isn't in the game to facilitate it. Glenn faked the handoff, rejected inside. Brajak comes away with it. Brajak middle of the floor, leaves for Platcher, a 3. Too strong, high rebound. Glenn saves it. And here comes Gibson the other way. Gibson spinning midcourt, nearly lost it, but is able to keep the handle. Now she'll slow things down. Trossi open, crosses over into the lane, got it to go. And one more to come. So Trossi, lightning quick, was open on the perimeter, elected to drive inside anyway. Now she has a chance for one more. Addison sits, Herrero Gomez back in. Wild Goose will sit for the Griffins, Milan in. One more to come for Trossi, 8-point game. Mary Trossi now has 7, coming off of a season-high 21 in the last game over a week ago against Goldie Beacom. Free throw good from Trossi as she continues her hot shooting from the line. Back to a 9-point game as the Griffins stretching it out a little bit again. As we come up on a minute to play in the third quarter, Bajak leaves for Tweedy. Now under a minute to play in the third. Platcher deep left wing into the corner. Bajak cut off. Back out Thompson. Leaves for Bajak a 3. Off to the left. Thompson finishes on the putback. So Thompson, since re-entering the game, has a couple offensive boards. 7-point game. Griffins on top, under 40 to play in the third. Seabold lost the dribble, poked out. And it ended up on the sideline before Tweedy was able to steal it. But that's a break for the Griffins. They keep the ball. 35.9 on the clock. Officials talking it over. And they didn't change it. They'll stay with the initial call that the ball hit the sideline after it was tipped, so it stays with the Griffins. Here's Seabold with 16 to shoot. Tamaz around the screen. Seabold holds. 8 to shoot as she works right. Got to make something happen now. Backs out all the way to the logo. 4 to shoot. Going to try to take Bajak off the dribble. Drives baseline. Flips it up. Air ball. Rebound for Herrero Gomez. Georgian Court can hold for the final shot. Instead, Tweedy fires away and puts it home. 5 to shoot for the Griffins. Seabold on the run. Down the lane. Flips it up. No good off left. And that's how the third quarter will end. 56-52. The Griffins clinging to a 4-point lead. We'll be back with the fourth in just a moment.
Being a Griffin means playing for the love of the game in a community that supports you every step of the way, from opening tip to the playoff push. At Chestnut Hill College, an NCAA Division II institution where the values of sportsmanship, service, and resourcefulness are at the forefront of our athletic programming. We truly know and fully embrace what it means to be a student athlete. As a student athlete on one of our 20 intercollegiate athletic teams, you'll be valued as a unique individual by our faculty and coaching staff who are here to help you pursue your athletic passions while working towards your degree. For more information, please visit www.chc.edu or www.griffinathletics.com.
Headed to the fourth here at Sorgenti Arena. 56-52 game. Griffins on top, but we're outscored by 8 in the third period. As Georgian Court shot 8 of 14 and 3 of 7 from deep to get themselves back into it. So what once looked like it would be a blowout, what once was a 19-point game, is now just a 2-possession game in the fourth. Georgian Court in blue with the ball, but now Tomas steals it on the wing, comes away with it. Up ahead, Gibson driving at Thompson, and Gibson lays it home. Thompson, playing with 4 fouls, could not really contest that shot. So the first points of the fourth belong to the Griffins. Herrero Gomez inside. Thompson double, goes with the right and gets it to go off the glass. Difficult shot in traffic. Thompson gets it back to a 4-point game. She now has 6 in limited action. Tamaz pull-up rejected from the free throw line from behind by Tweedy. Rebound Thompson in the corner. Tweedy catch and shoot. Line drive too short. Tipped by Milan out of bounds. Officials didn't see it. No call made. They've all got their hands out. It was off of the Griffins, though. Still no call. Griffins could get a break here. I think one just finally signaled, yeah, Georgian Court ball. It was pretty clear, but they missed it. Here's Thompson off the inbound, hands off for Tweedy. Just over a minute into the fourth. Platcher. Entry pass Herrero Gomez. She has a much smaller Trossi on her, but she threw it out of bounds as the double came. So Georgian Court trying to cut it to single digits. They got the look they wanted with 5'2" Mary Trossi on 6'1" Herrero Gomez, but she threw it out of bounds when the double came. 4-point game. Here's Glenn trotting it up court, handoff Gibson. Right back for Glenn, 23 to shoot for the Griffins. Wild Goose, top of the key, handoff Trossi, drives left, has a step. A lot of contact there, but no call. Up ahead, Platcher fires away from deep, off left. Long rebound corralled by Tweedy, far corner. Here's Brzac running the offense, right wing. Up top, Herrero Gomez. Entry pass Thompson down low. Swoop shot no good with the right. Rebound Trossi in the lane. Here's Trossi looking to run. Poked out of her hands from behind, and it stays with the Griffins. Prokic back in. Herrero Gomez will sit. Prokic with 6 assists, and she's done an excellent job moving the ball. The entry pass stolen. Here comes Tweedy the other way. Tweedy up ahead, Prokic. Prokic to the hoop. Blew the layup. Platcher comes away with it. And then a foul appears to be on Gibson. So it stays with Georgian Court. Gibson sits. Here comes Siebold. Griffin's offense has struggled so far in the second half. Only 20 points so far. Here's Thompson in the lane, kicks back out. Under 8 to play now in the fourth. Brzac nearly walked, but was able to keep her pivot foot up top. Prokic screens it up to her left, drives left of the lane, puts it up with the left, and gets it to go off glass. One possession game on that bucket from Karna Prokic. Griffins in a battle here for the second time. This Georgian Court team is giving them a tough time. Trossi cut off 18 feet away on the baseline, looking for help. Siebold, entry pass. Wild Goose back out to Maj. Shot fake, knifes into the lane. Wild Goose, wild shot, won't go. Gets her own miss and puts it home. And a timeout taken here. Just a 30-second timeout taken by Mike West. 4-point game. As Wild Goose with the extra effort now has 13 and gets it back to a 4-point and 2-possession game. Jada Wild Goose 13 points. Cassie Siebold, the only other Griffin, with 10. Vicky Tamaz, 9 points, 5 away from 1,000 for her career. It looked like it was going to be a foregone conclusion when she had 9 in the opening half, that she'd get to 14 and get to 1,000 today, but she hasn't scored yet in the second. Good news for her is that the Griffins are home Saturday as well, so she'll still have another chance to do it at home, even if she doesn't get it today. Georgian Court ball out of the timeout. It's Prokic. Doing the ball handling. 23 to shoot. Up top, Brzac. Has Prokic on the wing to her left. Up top, Thompson, top of the key. Drives right on Wild Goose. Flips it up. Too short with the right hand. Gets her own miss and was fouled on the follow by Wild Goose. Just the second on Wild Goose. Thompson to the line. 68% from the charity stripe is Thompson, who's been playing with 4 fouls most of the second half. Picked up her 4th early on in the third quarter. They put her back in late in the third, and she's done well since then. Now has 7 points, 7 boards, make it 8 and 7. Back to a 2-point game, 60-58, as we come up on 7 to play. In regulation, Trossi, a screen set up to her right from Wild Goose, uses it. Tamaz, quick ball movement, Wild Goose, and she lays it home. Nice feed from Vicky Tamaz. Tamaz now 4 assists, slightly above her season average. Prokic works right. Now Brajak straight on. Tweedy, deep left wing. 16 to shoot. Lob it down low for Thompson. Spinning baseline and gets it to go. Off glass. Thompson closing in on a double-double. 2-point game. Seabold kicks out Glenn a 3. Too strong. Thompson the board in the lane. Tamaz tried to rip it away, but Thompson wouldn't let her do it. Tweedy up ahead. Platcher in the corner. Too short on the line drive. Thompson crashes in to keep it alive. Has it back. And that's a fresh 30 for Georgian Court on the work by Thompson as she sailed in and tipped that initial rebound. 18 to shoot as Thompson has it. Faces up. Right of the lane with the left hand. Kicks out. Brajak. In and out from 18. And the wing tipped out of bounds underneath. And it goes to the Griffins. Kaylee Gibson back in. Shannon Glenn will sit. 62-60. Griffins on top. 5:52 to go. In the fourth. Strassi running the point. A lot of contact there, and that'll be a foul on Brajak. I think the official was thinking about calling a flagrant. I'm not sure if there was any intent there. Brajak just kind of had her arm out and didn't see Gibson. But a foul in either event. It stays with the Griffins. It's a little behind the play, but I think the camera probably picked it up. In either event, at the free throw line, they kind of crash into each other. It stays with the Griffins. 62-60. 5:45 to go. In the fourth, Griffins in red. Tamaz rejected inside by Thompson. Tamaz still sitting on 9 points. Deep left wing Platcher has a screen to her right, doesn't use it, drives baseline instead. Wild pass, Tweedy saves it in the corner. Nice play by her. Prokic will reset, now Thompson. Platcher deep left wing, 12 to shoot. Prokic, right wing, 7 to shoot, step back 3, got it. And that gives Georgian Court their first lead since the opening moments of the game. Prokic has been off all day from deep, but she put that one home. Midway through the fourth, Griffins suddenly trail. Wild Goose in traffic, too strong. Prokic the other way. Tweedy going at Tamaz down the lane. A lot of contact. And it's an offensive foul. Officials taking forever to make calls today. But they did finally signal it. It's going the other way as Tamaz had set her feet. Griffins can take the lead here with a bucket. They're down 63-62. Under 5 to play in the fourth. Griffins sitting in third in the CACC South. Wild Goose doesn't get the roll with the left, gets her own miss and finishes on the right of the hoop. On the second attempt, up ahead, Herrero Gomez fumbled the pass. Otherwise, she had an easy 2. She leaked out ahead of the pack off of the made bucket. Prokic, now Herrero Gomez free throw line. Entry pass Thompson knocked out of her hands by Wild Goose. And Seabold comes away with it. Crosses over in her own backcourt. Griffins have numbers. Free throw pull up. Too short. Doesn't get the roll to Seabold. Rebound for Tweedy. 1 point game. 4:10 to go in the fourth. Griffins on top. Thompson into the corner. Wild Goose on her. 16 to shoot for Georgian Court. Herrero Gomez, left wing, 18 feet away. Handoff Tweedy. Drives left, and she was fouled on her way to the hoop. She'll go to the line for 2. Foul is on Trossi. So the Griffins right now in third in the CACC South. 2.5 back of U Sciences and Jefferson. They have 1 game in hand on both of them as Tweedy ties it up. Only 5 more games after this. Essentially, with 2 very good teams ahead of them, to get one of those top 2 spots, the Griffins would likely have to win out. The only good thing is that in 3rd place at 10-3, they're not quite clinched, but pretty close to it. No good on the second, but Tweedy is tipped right back out to her, and she'll reset 45 feet away, near side of the floor. 64 all, under 4 to play in the 4th quarter. The Griffins led by 19 at one point in this game, but Georgian Court has worked their way back into it and have actually led at points. Prokic spinning in the lane, goes with the right, rejected by Glenn and Graham. Both got in there. Here's Gibson the other way looking to run. Lobs it for Graham, goes up, and gets the roll. Ball hung on the rim, looked like it might rim out. But Graham gives the Griffins a 2-point lead, 3:16 to play. In the 4th, stolen by Siebold to the hoop, and she lays it home. On that long skip pass in the backcourt, Siebold sniffed it out, and then had an easy 2. Nice play by the freshman. 4-point game, Prokic near side, and a timeout taken by Jasmina Perizic. 3:02 to go in the 4th quarter, 68-64. Griffins on top. The Griffins back on top by 4. 3:02 to go in the 4th, but they've cooled down in the second half, now shooting just 36.5%. Georgian Court up to 40%. But the Griffins have made 3 more threes. And that's really been the difference. They've actually made less field goals and less free throws, too, for that. Actually, hold on. Had that backwards. Free throws, the Griffins have made 1 more, and they have made 3 more field goals overall. Georgian Court has made 3 more threes and turned it over 20 times, but they've had a couple more possessions because they have 17 offensive rebounds. So that's been one of the big differences, the rebounding situation. Georgian Court ball. Out of the timeout, 4-point game. Griffins on top, now under 3 to play. Prokic, right wing. Goes left around the screen, into the corner, Tweedy. They'll post up Brajak, spinning, up and under, flips it up, no good, too short with the right, and here comes Trossi, 3-on-2. The Griffins have numbers. Tamaz to her left, Trossi goes all the way, rejected by Tweedy. Great job by Tweedy to get back. Here's Platcher. She can shoot it from deep, but she's been cold of late. Thompson, top of the key, drives left, down the left of the lane, a lot of contact, it's out of bounds. And it stays with the Lions. It's off of Graham last, and now Graham will sit. Wild Goose back in. Wild Goose has 17 points to lead the Griffins. Tweedy has a game-high 18. That pass thrown away by Brajak in traffic. And it goes to the Griffins. Another turnover for Georgian Court. That's number 21. Siebold hops left. Now to Maz. Wild Goose on the entry pass. Flips it up with the left. Off to the right, gets her own miss, kicks for Tamaz, no good from right in front of the cup. The ball caroms out of bounds, and it stays with the Griffins. So Vicky Tamaz still looking to score in the second half. She hasn't yet. Had an easy look off of the offensive rebound by Wild Goose, but came up a little bit short right there. Tamaz around the screen, fires away, in and out. Ball's out of bounds, who's it off of? And it stays with the Griffins. It's off of Herrera Gomez last. 1:54 to play in the 4th quarter. Griffins on top, trying to sweep Georgian Court for the season. Won the first meeting 93-90. Trossi inbounds into the corner for Tamaz, stolen by Tweedy, and she's dragged down by Tamaz. That'll be a foul on Vicky. 3rd on the Griffins, so 2 more and they'll be in the penalty. Jalen Tweedy will inbound. Near side, Jalen Tweedy. 14 points in the second half. Really came alive in the second. Here's Prokic by way of Serbia running the point. Man-to-man set, Trossi on her. Tweedy far corner, 18 to shoot, jacks a three and gets it to go. Tweedy out of rhythm, just jacked that one up. And it's back to a 1-point game. She has 21. Trossi crosses over in the lane, leaves it for Wild Goose, tipped and stolen by Prokic. Prokic up ahead, Platcher. And she'll slow things down, 1:18 to play. In the ball game, 1-point game. Georgian Court can take the lead with a hoop here. Tweedy walks it over to the deep right wing. Tamaz on her, 14 to shoot. Herrera Gomez top of the key, Platcher corner, 10 to shoot. Platcher looking for help. That pass tipped and stolen by Glenn far side, and she was shoved out of bounds by Herrera Gomez. Ill-advised pass by Platcher there. 59.9 to play in the fourth. Griffins clinging to a 1-point lead. Gibson into the game, and Sebald will sit. Griffins can take their time here. Trossi left of the lane, no good with the right, but a foul. And Trossi is going to the line. 4-2. So the Griffins, that's kind of their MO. A lot of teams would have tried to kill clock there, but Mike West telling his team to keep running, even with a minute to play in the game, and Trossi gets herself to the line. Trossi 2 of 2 at the line today, and she's been much better her last several games. Doesn't get the roll that time, though. Trossi entering today, 23 of 26 from the charity stripe, her last 4. Tamaz sits, Sebald back in. One more to come for Trossi. This would be a big one. It's a 1-point game right now. Second is good. 2-point game, 69 to 67, 52 on a running clock. In the fourth, Griffins on top. Here's Tweedy with a game-high 21. Prokic has a screen to her left. Herrera Gomez top of the key. 16 to shoot. It's Tweedy, deep left wing, drives baseline all the way. A lot of contact, no call. Shot was too strong. 31 on the clock, about a 3-second difference between shot and game clock. Let's see how Georgian Court plays it out. 2-point game. It's Trossi in traffic, now Sebald. And it looks like they will try to play this out, Georgian Court. It would be probably smarter to foul. They won't have much time if they elect to play defense. 9 to shoot, it's Sebald. Sebald trapped near side, and she was bumped finally by Tweedy, and that just makes no sense. They let 25 seconds run off the clock before finally fouling. And there wasn't really much of an effort to trap either. So Sebald to the line for 2, 10.6 on the clock, and if she hits 2, she'll essentially ice it. Hits the first, one more to come. For the freshman, Sebald, who now has 13. Brajak back in. Herrera Gomez will sit. Sebald hits the second 2. 4-point game, 10.6 to play. And that may have just iced it right there for Georgian Court as a timeout is taken here. Odd decision there. As Georgian Court let about 25 seconds, actually it was 24 to be exact. There was 6 on the shot clock when Sebald was fouled. They let 24 seconds run off the clock with, I don't know, we'll call it a token effort to trap and get a steal before finally committing kind of a weak foul, and that pretty much put the nail in the coffin for them. Now down 4, they'll need a quick bucket and then a couple of missed free throws and then probably a desperation heave because there's only 10.6 on the clock if they're to get back into this down 4. Griffins led by as much as 19, but then it turned into a back-and-forth game in the fourth, and Georgian Court actually led several times in the third and fourth quarters, but the Griffins looks like they'll be able to escape with a tight victory in a game that early on it looked like they'd be able to coast to the finish line. Jada Wildgoose, 17 and 8 in this one. Had 2 straight double-doubles coming into this game. Doesn't look like she'll be able to keep that streak going, but still has led the way for the Griffins. So Georgian Court will need to score quickly. Tweedy to inbound. Lob down low for Thompson. Goes with the right. No good air ball. Rebound Trossi, and she's fouled by Prokic. And that should just about do it. 6.5 on the clock. Even then, that was a bit of a curious call, too, because down 4. And remember, no more 1-on-1s in women's basketball. It's just double bonus. Probably need a 3 there if you're to have any chance of making this a game, but they elect to lob it down low for Thompson. In either event, Trossi at the line for 2. And rattles home the first. 5-point game. 6.5 on the clock. Trossi now in double figures with 10. One of 4 Griffins. Wild Goose with 17. Seabold 14. Graham has 10 off the bench. Nice game for her. And now Trossi has 11. That should ice it. 73-67. 5 on the clock. Here's Prokic. 2 on the clock. Platcher a deep 3 at the buzzer. 2 short, and that'll do it. 73-67. The Griffins escape in this one against Georgian Court. And in the process, when their 3rd in a row, improved to 15-8 and 11-3 in the conference, keeping alive their hopes of squeezing into one of those top 2 spots in the CACC South. Now with 5 games remaining after this. Next one at home on Saturday. Georgian Court, they fall to 4-18, 2-13 in conference. Their last in the CACC South. Jada Wildgoose 17-8. Vicky Tamaz 9 points, so she is now 5 away from 1,000 for her career. So have another shot to go at it again on Saturday and get it on her home court. So the men's game will be coming up, and they've got 22 minutes on the clock now. So I hope you join us for that. Until then, I'm Ricky Sobrano.